What has been the most challenging part of your new coaching role at Bloomsburg?
Most challenging part is just been getting to get to know the guys, develop real relationships with them. Everything moved extremely fast. You know, you think, okay, you have a vision for what you want your program to look like and how things should flow. But once it gets here, it's here, and it's moving a million miles per hour. But I really value relationships. Believe that gets them to a place in which they're willing to play hard. We build teamwork, we build chemistry. So that was the biggest challenge. You know, with the amount of guys we had coming back, with the returning class, just really putting an emphasis on getting to know them. Obviously, them getting to know me, the new staff. That was definitely the biggest challenge.
What attributes from your previous coaching experiences do you hope to instill here in Bloomsburg?
Culture for sure. You know, I can call Coach K, Tom Izzo, anybody else in the country and get the best playbook going, but if we don't have culture, it doesn't matter. You know, playing for each other, being responsible, making good decisions on and off the floor goes further than talent in a lot of situations. So I was fortunate enough to spend time at Edinburgh working for a program that was just tremendous culture. So that was the one thing that I definitely wanted to bring was that family atmosphere where they understand it's bigger than basketball.
What is the most important thing you want to see from the team this season?
Improvement, just improvement and consistency. Every team's journey is different. Every team's aspirations and goals are different, but the one thing that can be consistent in terms of program to program, team to team, year to year is improvement from day one to the finish. So if we're constantly working day in and day out to get better, if we're coming together and growing together as a unit, that's what I'm looking for. And if we're doing that the right way, if we're playing hard, if we're playing for each other, then we'll end up where we want to be.
Last year, we did lose some great players, but I feel like you know, we can be back in the mix again. This year will be a little bit different with some different names and faces, but I think we have an opportunity to win some basketball games this year. Zion and Keith really have grown physically. Both of those guys have added some muscle and should be really good for us. Getting Jermaine Hall back really helps our team because he's dynamic in a few different positions, especially on the defensive end. He can guard pretty much 1 through 5 in our league, and he'll give us another option that can score the ball, shoots it well, can put it on the floor, gets on the glass, strong, good athlete. So very excited to get Jermaine. He's our captain and is leading us very well at this time. Yeah, we do have some new faces. I'm excited about them. Cam, really good three-point shooter, is getting better on the defensive end, is going to be a very good offensive player, and he's going to contribute from day one. KJ, same way, shoots the ball really well, is good on the defensive end, and can play multiple positions on the perimeter for us, and does a good job on the glass for us as well. I think Antoine's going to be a really good player for us as well. Has the ability to score the ball, good athlete, can finish around the rim, shoots the three well. So excited about those guys, and we'll need those guys. We also got Donald back coming off of injury. So, you know, it should be an exciting year. I think we'll be able to get up and down and play a little bit faster this year. And I think in time we'll have more bodies than we had last year as well. I always feel like our non-conference schedule is set up to try to help us get ready to compete in the PSAC West. But, you know, we play West Liberty, who's #1 in the Mountain East, so we'll have to be ready to play that night for sure. And some of the other non-conference games will get us ready. Obviously, our conference will be very good again this year. 1 through 9 on the west side are very challenging, so we'll need to be prepared and ready to win basketball games.
Tell us a little bit about your expectations for the season based on what you have coming back and what you know about the program now.
We're looking forward to making the next steps within the rebuild of our program. For the first time in a while, we have returners who have experience in the PSAC in our system. And so we're excited for the returning classes to make those next steps in their development, expecting great playing leadership out of them.
Tell us a little bit about the early portion of the schedule, non-conference. You have the opportunity to open the season at home this year, but just a general impression of that non-conference schedule as you head into PSAC play.
Yeah, we wanted to make our non-conference schedule challenging. Thankfully, we have a tip-off classic to start the season, so 2 games at home against 2 very good opponents in Concord and Winston-Salem. We'll also play Lake Erie, who is always a good team out of Ohio, and Damon University, who is a regional power up there out of New York. So the plan is to get us prepared for the PSAC West play by playing the best competition we possibly can.
You talked about you have some returners on the roster that have experience in your system in conference play. Could you give us a little breakdown of, what do you think you have in your roster? And I know it's tough to put expectations on individuals this early in the season, but who are some individuals that you're expecting to lead your team this year?
Well, of course, Gerald Jarman probably is the first name that will come up in terms of players who are returning. He's been our leading scorer the past 2 years. We're expecting him to take the next steps in regards to leadership, especially having a young team and being the focal point offensively as well. Also, Mekhi Reynolds, who was our starting point guard last year, we're looking for him to make those next steps as well in his development, being assertive offensively and leading us and anchoring us on defense with his energy and his zest and excitement to play.
We have a good nucleus coming back, obviously led by Carlos Pepin, who's a Player of the Year in the East, reigning Player of the Year in the East. Lakeem McAlee was second team in his freshman year. Justin Paz is joining us again this year. He'll be a junior this year, splitting time at both point guard and two guard. Mark Rodriguez is back as a graduate student as well at the wing. So in essence, 4 starters are returning. Shamir Johnson will be returning this year after an ACL injury. Devon Lee, a very good player at the point guard spot, helps split a little bit of time at 1 and 2. And then Mike Millsap and Zach Sable inside. So we have a very strong nucleus coming back that we're looking forward to playing with. Only adding 3 guys this year. Jalen McGlone kind of headlines that list. Transfer from Ryder, played there for 2 years. Looking forward to Jalen on the floor. And then we have 2 freshmen, Nasir Griffin from West Catholic in Philadelphia, 6'7" player that will help stabilize our front court, and Tyshawn Trail, a wing from Woodstock Academy and Queens, New York, that is a very good scoring wing that we're looking for big things for in the future. Coming out of the gates, and we're going to be challenged right away. Fayetteville State will be picked to win the CIAA. We're going to Bowie to play in that tournament. Bowie, I think, is picked either 3rd or 4th in the CIAA. And then we return home. We have 2 home games before we get into PSAC play. Duville out of New York, and then Bridgeport right before we start. So those 4 games should prepare us for the PSAC and the PSAC East. I think the East is going to be very balanced this year, as it always is. Good coaching, good teams, a lot of veteran teams returning. So while we have some veteran leadership on our team, you can look at pretty much every roster in the East and look at the same thing. So be definitely very competitive again, as always. And every night out, you're going to have to give your opponent the best game.
Here with head coach Pat Cleary for PSC Basketball Media Day. Coach, you got some holes to fill. 5 of your top 7 scorers no longer here. But you have some veteran guys to balance it out. What's that mix of veteran versus newcomer look like for you this year?
I think that one of the pieces that's really helping us bridge that gap is Kyrell Green was here last year but got knocked out of the lineup because of a broken hand. Now that he's back and he's healthy, I think he can take more of that veteran leadership that him and Dom Keys can provide, that we're here, and help our new guys get it figured out and know what we're really trying to accomplish.
Coach, you played a lot of really close games last year in the West. What do you have to do this year to kind of get over that hump and maybe win some of those close games?
If this was last year, I'd tell you to put Kyrell in the lineup, but it's not last year. So we got to figure out the right mix of guys on the court, and I'm sure every team's going through it right now, just mixing and matching lineups in practice and seeing who really brings out the best in each other, and that's where we're at right now, and hopefully we can get that chemistry to where we need it to be, come January and February.
The PSAC West is a tough league with lots of really good teams in it. What's it like to prepare yourself and to prepare a team to play in the PSAC West night after night?
The West is brutal. There's no easy nights. It really, last year, prepared us really for anything that you would come across when we were playing 3 games a week for whatever it was, 5 straight weeks or whatever. Now, hopefully this year the world has calmed down and we can get back to 2 games a week, and it'll just be its normal level of brutality instead of what we dealt with last year. But the league, top to bottom, is very strong. It's a grown-up league. Not a lot of fresh faces coming in making an impact right away. You know, it's usually your upperclassmen, so it's not easy, that's for sure.
Preseason's been good for us. We have, 8 new players, 5 freshmen, 3 transfers. So there's a lot of learning, there's a lot of teaching. When you have a lot of new guys, they're coming from different programs where coaches emphasize different things. So, right now we're just trying to get them on the same page, make sure they understand how we do things at Gannon. They've come a long way, and I'm excited about where we're going. I'm really, really excited about the chemistry. We have some really, really good kids. Obviously, I'm excited about the talent, but the character of the kids, the type of kid we have, they're high character, they come from good families, and they're really getting to know each other. They spend a lot of time with each other, and it's showing on the court. They share the ball, they're unselfish, and they want to see their teammates succeed. Well, I think the first thing, if anybody remember us from last year, is to stay healthy. We had a lot of injuries last year that really hindered us and what we thought we could be. Right now, guys are healthy, guys are getting back in shape. We had a couple of concussions that really sidelined a couple of guys, so we're back to being 100%. So if we can stay healthy, then we have a chance to do something really special this year. I think we have talent. I think we have a little bit of everything. We have guys, we have size inside. We have guys that can shoot it. We have athleticism. But I think, no matter with all that talent, if you don't have chemistry, it's not going to work. So I think our biggest thing right now is that we like each other. We are unselfish. We have chemistry. And I think that's going to be the key for us to be successful. I think the PSAC's the best league in Division II basketball. Up and down, we have great coaching. You have really, really talented players. And at the end of the season, you're going to see multiple teams in the NCAA tournament.
Here with head coach Joe Lombardi of the IUP men's basketball team. And coach, basketball season fast approaching. What are your overall thoughts on the 22-23 season that's upcoming?
Josh, I really like our guys. I like our team. First and foremost, they're a group of good young men. They have a heart for each other, and that's important when you're trying to build, championship mentality or be championship worthy. We're talented in a lot of areas. We have good inside players, and Ethan and Tamawa and David Morris is a returning first-team All-League player who's very talented, along with Shondale Jones, who looks like he's coming back to full strength so far in practice. Okay, he's had a long struggle with having an ACL surgery back in last December. So those 4 guys are really the core, and we have a good group of complementary guys that I think can play their role. And a lot of those guys can actually do more than they'll be asked of this year. But on this type of team, they have to be somewhat subservient and try to fit the roles that the team needs. It's about which players can complement those 4 the best.
And then looking at your schedule, a couple of Division I exhibitions, what is that approach as far as getting you ready for a grueling PSAC West schedule here in a couple of weeks?
Well, it just helps us learn. There's a couple reasons we play them. We play them because it's a tremendous experience for our guys. Last year we went out to Illinois. A couple of years ago we went down to Kentucky. We get a chance. We're playing in a closed scrimmage against Niagara University, on this coming Sunday. And then after that, we go up to Syracuse and get a chance to play in the Carrier Dome, which is always a thrill for young players. And then following Sunday, we go down to Miami, Florida, and play at Miami University, who was in the Elite 8 team last year. So we'll get exposed. There'll be a lot of things that we're showing we got to work on, but I already know there's a lot of stuff we have to work on. After only having 5 days of practice. So that schedule it's exciting for them to enjoy it. It's exciting for us to learn, and then we come back and we have 2 weeks to get ready for the regular season, which will be challenging. And the second week of the regular season, we play who I think might be the best team in the region, in the Central region. And that's going to be Walsh. They have a lot of guys back from a team that was a #1 seed in the region last year. So I wanted to challenge these guys. I wanted to make sure, because I think the West is going to be extremely strong this year, with UPJ returning 4 starters, with Mercyhurst returning 4 or 5 starters, and California just having a good nucleus returning, even though they lost some guys.
What do you think about this upcoming season? What excites you? What players excite you? What do you see for KU basketball in 2022-23?
I see a healthy year. I mean, that's probably the one thing that we want to, really signal out and make sure that we don't experience what we did last year. And the kids have come back ready to play. Our leaders this year, Wesley Butler and Jalen Bryan at the guards, I think are going to be pretty good. And we have Cam Roberts coming back as a redshirt freshman, and Robert Tucker, plus a couple of the transfers that we have coming in. So we're pretty excited right now.
Is there any of those specific newcomers that really stick out to you?
I really like some of the versatility that it's going to give us. We're going to be a much larger team than we have been in the past. The Whippen twins, 6'7" and 6'5", are really playing well. Jordan Harding, a 6'6" guard from Delaware, is doing well, and Josh Samick, a 6'8" guard forward from transfer from Westchester, has really been shooting the ball well. So I think we're going to be a little bit more consistent from the perimeter and have a little bit more depth in the center position, be able to defend the post a little bit better than we have in the past.
Gotcha. And what do you deem as a successful year this season for KU?
PSAC East Championship.
Hi, Mike Nestor here, Lock Haven University men's basketball head coach. Really excited time of the year for us here at Lock Haven University, starting our 22-23 PSAC men's basketball campaign. Last week has just been amazing. It's such a great time of the year for all head coaches. The energy in the gym has been nothing but extraordinary. A lot of guys that are just ecstatic to be back on the floor for another season of men's basketball. We do have a great schedule ahead of us, starting November 11th in the Pitt Johnstown Tip-Off Classic. But on to some of our players. We have a great group of returners and new faces this season. Starting with our returners, we have Eli Washington and Daimir Montague, both starters. Really shape up to be a good, strong backcourt, and I think in our league. Guys that made really good strides this summer, and especially this preseason. Adam Freeze, Jimmy, and also Isaiah Stewart. They did a great job for us preseason and really did a lot of just positive things last season that I know they're really ready to get started for us. New faces, we have 3 transfers that I think are really ready to compete right from day one. Jay Davis, Jalen Gorham, along with Gabe Springer. And one of the freshmen I think that could really be a key contributor is Justice Schultz. So I think along with our other guys that we have really kind of competing for time, we're doing a great job of just bringing energy and enthusiasm every day. Lastly, I'd just like to say, safety and health for all teams this season in the PSAC. Go Bald Eagles.
So far, the preseason's gone quite well for us. I thought at the end of last season we really were playing some better basketball, competing in every game and looking to carry that momentum into this season. Good core group of guys returning with a lot of experience from last year that were freshmen. Scott Woodring, Idris Ali, Manir Waller, a good core 3 group of guys that are coming back along with some other returning guys. We're able to add some freshmen, Idris Ali's brother Siraj Ali, who was Pennsylvania Player of the Year last year, and along with Mike Dixon, Ty Barrett, and several other freshmen. We're still a young team, but not quite as young as we were a year ago, and I think the guys are really buying in well to what we're doing thus far and eager to learn and get better every day. Also fortunate to add Mike Rell to our staff as an assistant coach who played here, knows the university, knows me. I know him. He relates really well to the players and is a really good player development guy and just great to have around the office all day. But so far so good. Hopefully we'll improve on last year's win total.
So Coach, another year here for University. After a very successful season last year, what can you guys do to maybe take a step forward as you go into the new season?
And that's the goal. We have 6 guys returning of the 8 that played in last year's team. So those 6 I think are pretty solidified. What we're looking for is that 7 through 10 to continue our depth that we've had in years past. And I think the thing that we can improve upon is how we play in the open court and how we rebound the basketball.
Talk a little bit about the returners that you had this year. It'd be pretty exciting to have someone like a McIntosh and some of the other guys coming back. for another season. How do you plan on leaning on them going into the new year?
The nice thing is, like, I think all 6 guys coming back that played significant minutes last year has really showed improvement. Pip, Aiden, Michael Bradley's playing like a 5th-year senior. Obviously, Micah and Nick have been with us for 5 years. Jeff made a big jump last year. So we're counting a lot on all 6 guys, and from the end of last season to the beginning of practice over the last week and a half, and the month of the preseason, they've shown some major improvements, and if we can keep going in the right direction, we should be a tough out.
Looking at the other side of things now, talk a little bit about your veteran depth, kind of looking at some of the new guys, who do you feel like might stand out this year?
Christian Gamble has really stood out defensively so far, but I like all 4 of our freshmen. Sean Fullerton, Desan Doucette, Luke Triggs, they all show they can play at this level. I think they're all going to play significant minutes throughout the year. I think if that is the case and you add Karen Sandy, that shows some improvement from last year. Hopefully that gets us over the hump as far as having some depth that we've actually been fortunate to have in years past.
All right. So first off, what are the keys for this team's success this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we have to do, obviously, even though we lost a lot of guys from last year's team, which was a special group, not only on the court but off the court, is, we have to learn from that. The younger players have to take example leading from our older guys who have been around, obviously some of the best leaders and players that we've had here in the program. So, how quickly they can learn how to go from a talented basketball team to a winning basketball team is obviously going to be a big key, and it's going to take time because we are replacing some really, really good players, and there's one thing a coach can't give kids is experience. They have to learn how to do that themselves, and they have to learn how to fail and learn how to adjust to that.
Who are some of the key players that you have coming back that you're going to rely on?
Yeah, our returns have been great. They've really picked up where we left off last year, and especially from the leadership aspect. A lot of people are going to point out what we lost statistically, obviously scoring, rebounding, defense, but we really lost really good leaders. And, Makai Hendricks had been great as a leader and a player. Ryan Davis has really taken a step that we've been looking for him to make here the last couple of years. Justin Nwosu is just a great kid, had a great end of the season last year, and he's really picked off where he left off last year. And obviously we have a good big-time transfer in Matt Dade from Westchester, an all-conference kid. And then Jame Ested, Drew Stover are guys that we expect to make a big step, that we're sitting behind some really good players last year as young, talented players, and now we're hoping they make that next step. James Gross is another guy who redshirted last year but came from a big-time reputation out of high school that has really played well here the last couple of weeks. So we expect those guys to pick up, and learn from what we accomplished last year and show the young guys the way.
We're really looking forward to the 2022-23 season. We've got 4 fifth-year seniors and a 6th-year senior and another senior, so we've got 6 seniors, so got a lot of experience. Last year we felt that we were an NCAA tournament team and got left out, and I think our guys have a chip on their shoulder with something to prove, and we're going to be led by All-American John Paul Krompka, who we feel could be the best player in the country, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, does everything right, unselfish, great leader. And our other seniors with Caden Landis, Joe Batt, Drew Magestro, Jared Jakubik. These guys have been through it, and they've had great careers, and we're hoping they can finish strong. Our schedule this year is probably the most grueling schedule we've ever had. We're playing the #1 team in the country on the road, West Liberty. Nova Southeast out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida was 32-0 when they lost in the NCAA tournament. We're going down there and playing. Charleston was a top 25 team. They're coming here on our opening weekend. And that's just the exhibition season, non-league games. The PSAC schedule will be absolutely brutal also, with IUP, Mercyhurst, California, East Stroudsburg. We're playing some just great teams, but again, we've been through it for a long time, so I have a feeling that we're going to be pretty good. We've got some good depth with, sophomore Ryan Smith had a great freshman year. We have some freshmen, Will Krompka and Nick Watts coming in to help us, so I think we have some of the best depth we've had in a number of years, so we're looking forward to a great season.
No, we're excited for this opportunity this year. Our staff's excited for our first year. Obviously, Seton Hill, we've inherited some unbelievable kids that are playing really hard. They're really bought into what we're trying to do, and they're really a true team. There's a true brotherhood on our team. We're gonna attack. We're gonna play really fast. We're gonna share the basketball and shoot a lot of threes. I'm proud of our older guys, of just how hard they're working, how much they're bought in, and our younger guys keep getting better every day. And we're just trying to get a little bit better than we were yesterday. And if we keep doing that, we'll be right where we want to be.
After a very trying season last year, I think we are ready to reemerge healthy and much improved. We're going to be led by our upperclassmen. First is our senior, John Preston. Although John shot the ball poorly last year, he rededicated himself this summer, and he's come in great this preseason so far. We're really going to rely on his toughness and his leadership. We also are going to be led by our juniors, Daniel McLean-Corley and Philip Jordan. Daniel was leading the PSAC and our team in scoring last year after 9 games, and then he suffered a stress fracture in his leg. He is back healthy, and we're really looking forward to having him back. Philip Jordan missed multiple games last year with an ankle injury and COVID protocols. He's healthy and ready to have a really good season as well. I'm excited about our sophomore class, Gerard Robinson, Carson Poffenberger, and Aiden Hughley. All 3 of those guys had really solid freshman years and are ready to step up this year. We also have some freshmen who are ready to play. We'll be relying on Michael Cooper and Stephon Marcel. We get started this season. We're going to be tested really early. We play at West Liberty in their tip-off in early November. We'll play them, and then we play Wheeling. And then we'll tip off the PSAC season in early December. So we're really looking forward to this season.
Yeah, we've had a great preseason. I love how our guys have been working. We have a couple injuries that we're working through, but they've been back in practice this week, and I'm excited about the team. We have a nice balance between returners that have had a lot of experience for us and been in some big games, in addition to some young guys that are very talented, that I think are ready to take the next step and play bigger roles. So I like the balance of our team, and I'm excited about what the season has to hold. Yeah, it's a process, as in any year. We always start with defense, and we build off of that. I think that's the foundation of the success that we've had, is we've been a very good half-court defensive team, and then very unselfish on the offensive end. And I don't see this year being any different. I think that we could be good on the defensive end of the floor, and we've got a number of guys that can score, but we all play together and unselfish, and so it's a fun group to coach. For sure. Our conference is always loaded, and the schedule is very challenging on both sides. And the teams that normally come out of our conference do very well in the national tournament. I think that you've got to bring it each week, and any given week you can, if you play well, you can win, or we'd like to believe we could, but also any given week you can lose if you don't play well, because every team's capable of beating you.
I think we have a positive outlook for this upcoming season. We're very excited, everyone involved with the program, from the players, the coaches, student managers, and support staff. We did lose our top 2 scorers, but we have a lot of good guys back in the program, young guys that will step into bigger roles, and we got some new guys added to that mix. So generally speaking, I think we're very excited. Well, we return Monty Britt. He'll be a senior captain. Again, he's started every game since he's been here. Very tough young player who provides great leadership on a daily basis. He'll be back, and he showed great improvement last year, so we're hoping that he can continue to improve as well as all of our guys. Jonathan McFall had a very first good year last year as a junior, and we're expecting good things from him as well this coming year in his senior campaign. Nick Kazaku's back for his 4th season, and he provides great motor. And we got a lot of good young players on the team. Without trying to mention everyone, Bobby Clifford was a freshman last year. He'll be a sophomore in court. Dylan Ahern, LaShawn Lindsay played significant minutes as a sophomore last year. Jomo Goings will be back as well, who was out last year with injury. we had a big class this year, 4 freshmen, 1 redshirt freshman who transferred in, 3 true freshmen, and they're already, making an impact on the team. And again, as I alluded to last year, we had a redshirt freshman, so we have a lot of freshmen in this class, and then we also added a few transfers, 2 junior college players, Ahmad Gallimore and Khalid Gates, who are also, they have more of a veteran feel to them as they're older individuals. So all the mix of the returners, the freshmen, and the transfers come together, and I think that we got just what we need to be competitive.
Joined here by head coach Damian Blair. Coach, talk about the upcoming season.
I think we'll be very competitive, and I think we'll be fun to watch. I think we have some speed, we have some size, we have some athleticism, and we also have some kids that are really skilled. It's just about putting those pieces together so that we can be an effective unit. In order to do that, we're going to have some leadership, and I think we'll be able to get that from our point guard position and players such as Kyle McGee, Dame Wall, and Anthony Purnell. We're going to need some scoring, and we have 2 capable scorers that can really light it up in Elijah Allen and Robert Smith. And we're going to need some people that are going to be able to rebound and defend, and we'll probably get that from our wings and Taj Campbell McGee and Moro Asumano. And then we have some experience from our post players. Marcus Little has been with the program for over 3 years, and we got a newcomer in Josh Walker who's athletic, can block some shots and can finish around the rim. And we have Elijah Barrett, who was with us last year and was a force down in the paint and can also block shots and finish around the basket. So you put all those pieces together, I think that we could be an effective unit, and we're going to have to be, because early on we got a really tough schedule. In our first 15 games, we're going to see teams such as Lincoln, Elizabeth City, Virginia State, IUP, Mercyhurst, Gannon, who are all very talented teams. And in order for us to be effective and successful, we're going to have to be disciplined, play extremely hard, and be consistent.